Hello there, we do have another SASL Season 3 Round 1 game. Seekreprieve vs Dan, it will be a ZVZ. Just waiting on confirmation. Seekreprieve is ready. Will be a GSL Daybreak, obviously first map of our Round 1. Alright, he's ready. Good luck, have fun. GG with a love heart. Let's get this underway. Yellow and red. Let me see if I can get this sorted before we start the game. I think we should be pretty sweet once we start up. The moment of truth. Is it matching? Ah, damn it. Shouldn't take too long. Apologies for that. There we go. All sweet. So we'll jump straight into introductions. So spawning in our top right hand corner, we do have, it is a ZVZ, we do have our first Zerg opponent in this matchup. We do have the yellow Zerg Seekreprieve, and spawning in the bottom left hand corner in this 1v1 map. Both obviously know they are cross positions. We do have our red Zerg player Dan. Now I guess a bit of background on both players. Seekreprieve is Masters 1v1. Hasn't actually played 1v1 in quite a while. He may have played some games recently I haven't actually seen, but he has had a little break from 1v1. Dan appears to not have played 1v1 in upwards of 2 to 3 seasons. Interesting, I'm not sure if he's played on NA or not, but again it would appear that there has been a little bit of a lapse in place from both of these opponents, so I'm not sure obviously how this will affect their gameplay, as we do have Dan coming in for a scout now. I guess the notable thing to look for, and he does see it, is when the gas timing, if there's a pull up. So it does appear that Seekreprieve won't be going, and there's a pause. Seems like Seekreprieve won't be going for that 15 expand, opting for a safer gas opening. Get those speedlings out earlier. And looks like we'll jump straight back into the game. Seekreprieve accidentally saying no. Yeah, so Seekreprieve getting that early gas. We'll see the pool go down right now. Like I said, be able to get that early speedling, and similar build. So both Zergs doing the same opening. I mean, Dan's gas was a little bit later, so you may have gone for that pool first. I did actually miss it while we were looking over at his scouting drone. So both playing pretty safe. I guess it'll be interesting to see who, if any of them, actually expands behind it. Sometimes you do see one base pressure. Generally you have one Zerg take the punt and go for that expo. If they can hold it, then generally they're in good stead for the rest of the game, or at least into the mid game. But we'll have to wait and see. While we have a lapse in some action, I will do some shout outs to our casters, not our casters, our sponsors. Obviously they're an important aspect of this Season 3, so I would like to do a shout out to Juice Studios for cheap and reliable Australian based web hosting and VPS. Go no further than juicestudios.com.au. Special thank you again to Terra Australis, one of Southeast Asia's most established StarCraft 2 clans. Terra Australis is a perfect clan for any StarCraft 2 enthusiast. Be sure to check them out at www.clan-ta.com. And last but definitely not least, we do have Channel 4 News Team, a group of gaming enthusiasts delivering high quality reviews and previews of games on the horizon. Be sure to check Channel 4 News Team at www.c4nt.net. And thank you again to our very valuable sponsors. And as we do have a little bit of engagement, looks like Dan going for the expo as well. Actually, both parties are going for the expo. Apologies for missing some while I was doing the sponsor shoutouts. So interesting, both parties going for that expo. In a lot of cases, I've seen one Zerg go for an expo, and then the opponent Zerg, having scattered that, will go for like a one base baneling or speedling pressure. Looks like both parties have expanded. We have a baneling nest popping down for Dan, so he will be applying that baneling pressure. It doesn't appear like Seekreprieve is gearing up for that yet. Look at the worker count, pretty close. And both parties just trying to get any kind of attack, any kind of lings. Obviously, any lings that you kill are invaluable. Look at the unit count, 14v14. It's basically bang on each other. And they'll play cat and mouse. But again, Dan does have that baneling nest complete. He does have two on the way. Obviously, having them on the high ground. If Seekreprieve is too aggressive and jumps up this ramp, these banelings will be able to sop him up. So definitely Seekreprieve has to have the better micro, you'd feel, in this situation. A few baneling hits on his army would devastate. He's getting his own baneling nest up. Yeah. Yeah, so he is getting his own baneling nest. There's a bit of a timing where Dan has the advantage in that aspect. And also a Roach Warren coming down for Seekreprieve. So definitely Dan's banelings were more of a defensive. He isn't going on in the attack at any point, playing very defensively, just trying to get his econ up. In fact, both parties are, but surprisingly Dan only on 18 workers, so perhaps I was incorrect in assuming that. We do have Seekreprieve, some would say somewhat greedily, going on to 32 drones, and he has to be careful. If you look at the unit count, 14v18 with 3 banelings as well. Will need to. He is droning behind this stand, so more than likely we'll catch up pretty shortly. We do have 7 roaches on the way, so I feel pretty confident with Seekreprieve's defense. Do have a spine crawler coming up as well. It won't be done for some time. And we do have the banelings come in, and these are the key ingredients of this attack. If they can land some good baneling hits, actually is going for the mineral line, and they will get nothing. He does actually get the creep tumor. But that is really not obviously what he's gearing up for. So good timing on the roaches to pop. I felt like Dan had an opportunity to take out those lings, but didn't actually manage to do that in the end. Obviously was trying to go for that mineral line. And Seekreprieve in a good situation at the moment. He is up to 31 drones. Has been building basically pure ling and roach behind this. So he will be gearing up for his own counter-attack, and if you look at the army value, 17v42, it's definitely looking very dangerous for Dan. These roaches, I mean, he does know what's coming, but these roaches will be able to sop up any kind of baneling hits. If we look defensively, he does have 1 spine crawler. He's getting a second one up now, and he does have his own roach one with 26 lings in production. Good choice of units. Obviously, if they can get a surround on these roaches, it will be quite big. But opting to attack at this point in time. 3 banelings could do a lot of damage. He has to be careful with these lings. They are his only hope. And straight through into the mineral line. And he does get a few workers. If we look here, 6 workers in total. And actually just going for a drone harass. And 80v35, it's telling the tale. These roaches will be able to clean up this expo. These lings will be able to overwhelm Dan's lings, and it's definitely more than likely going to see a GG very shortly. Can't really see any kind of hold here from Dan. We do have a lot of lings just chilling outside the battle. They could be helping in the engagement, and even if Dan does hold this, he has lost 11 workers. He's down to 16. He is on 1 base. And Seekreprieve can expand behind this. He has 1,000 minerals in the bank. It's all looking up for Seekreprieve. I don't really see how there's anything Dan can do to repel this. 3 more roaches and a baneling in production for Dan. And this is his final stand. And both parties on 0-0 didn't actually get opportunity to upgrade. It is very early in the game. We do have a level 1 upgrade on the way. for Seekreprieve, and he will take down this Spine Crawl. These Banelings will be able to do a bit of damage, not too much. And Seekreprieve is just expanding behind this. Well, not necessarily expanding, just droning up. He doesn't have to go for the kill at the moment. He's crippled Dan. And Dan is in no situation to be able to do any counterattack, so he is droning up behind this. Now up to 43 drones. He's getting a layer tech as well, and a macro hatch with evolution chamber. So he will be starting his own upgrades very shortly. As Dan retakes his second, Seek goes for his third. So definitely you'd feel Seek is in the advantageous situation at the moment, both in economy and units. And Seekreprieve more than likely is just going to hold back. He might just jump in here every now and again to see if he can do some little poking. Obviously needs to make sure that he stays on the... or he needs to make sure he obviously scouts a lot of the time. I guess in ZVZ you need to make sure you know if they're going mutas or anything like that. But he is in no situation where he has to put on any pressure. But it seems like he is going Infestation Pit and may go for a Roach Infest timing. Do have level 1 upgrades for the armor first. That will help both of his Roaches and his Infestors that are en route. And meanwhile back home in the red Zerg base, Lairtech on the way. He does have a level... sorry, I felt like... I thought he had was starting upgrades. But maybe he got killed. Maybe he had one at the front. I'm not actually sure. So apologies for missing that. But we do have quite a sizable Roach army. How many? In fact, 19. Are they all in this group? We just check. We do have, yeah, approximately 19. And this Expo will go down again. Dan doesn't have the units to deal with this. And Seekreprieve can throw this army if he really wants to. He doesn't need to. And more than likely will just retreat. Has done the damage he needs to do, and maybe actually will engage here. He does have the advantage, and yeah, it's going to be a lapse in anything really notable. If Seekreprieve doesn't kill him here, he's just going to force him to stay on one base for as long as possible while he techs up. It's 17 Roaches on the way, so it looks like he's gearing up for the final push. He is on 3 base, has quite a good economy going, up to 61 drones, 62 drones in total now. He does have pathogen glands, finishing level 1 Roach, has completed. We have 1-1 versus 0-0 of Dan, and it's not looking good for Jan, as he GG's out in the first game, so Seekreprieve taking the first game there. I felt quite convincingly. It was pretty close early, but Seekreprieve had some nice engagement. Those Banelings didn't. It is a best of 3. The Banelings didn't hit for Dan on those Lings. He did have an opportunity to hit with the Lings, but he did go for the mineral line, and those Roaches dealt with the Banelings effectively. And well played from Seekreprieve. And it looks like Dan will be back in a sec, so we'll jump straight into some music. We'll be back shortly. So for those just joining, Seekreprieve did take game number 1. As I jump into Skype, it appears that Centrelink will be jumping in with wants to cast some ZVZ. Fine with me. But Seekreprieve did take game number 1. It is a best of 3, so if Seekreprieve wins this one, he will take the set 2-0. Equally, if Dan wins it, we'll force the third game. It is a Swiss style bracket, so every single game that you win, you do get a point. For every set you win, you also get a point. So Seekreprieve has the opportunity, if he wins this one, to take 3 points. And if Dan wins this one, it will tie it up at 1 point apiece. Hey man.
Oh, funny. Introduce me as Centrelink. Anyway, hey. Nah. My mic working?
It is working, good sir. We do have Mushy, aka TA Centrelink. I can't believe you have TA at the front.
What? Well, oh well.
It's alright man, it's alright.
TA knows that I'm not in there. Half of them were like, doesn't care. Anyway, so apparently he's looking at the map.
Yeah, Dan's just looking at the map pool at the moment, so bear with us. Check out our sponsors while you wait. Speaking of TA. Dual site, so we'll just set up the map as looks like Dan is gearing up for a dual site. So I will be starting the game up.
Oh, you're starting, okay.
Yeah, man.
Wait, there was a map pool? Shit, oh, crap. Probably should have checked that when I like had my matches.
Yeah, generally tournaments have map pools. Just saying.
Well, normally it's a map pool for the first map, and then after that it's loser choosers, so...
Yeah, out of the map pool.
Lies!
Anyway, dual site is GSL, the one that we are using.
Wait.
So, dual sites.
Apparently, no wait, never mind.
Apparently.
What?
Invite to game, invite to game, invite to a game.
Yo!
Dan is ready. Are you ready, Centrelink?
Yes, I am ready.
Alright, we'll be jumping straight into game number 2 very shortly. As the beautiful countdown starts.
Alright. 3, 2, 1. I don't know why, but I reckon this map would look like so much better if like it was a TVZ or like no mirror matches, because mirror matches just look horrible on it because of the color of the map.
Because that matters.
It does.
Okay, buddy. So straight into game number 2, GSL dual site, as picked by Dan, the loser of game number 1. Who wins this one will force the third game. Seekreprieve has an opportunity to take it out with this game.
So
Now,
who's lagging?
not me.
Me.
Now, Mr. Zerg, what are your thoughts on this matchup on this map?
What?
You're a Zerg player.
What about it?
I don't know, do you have any...
You're the lagger.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. You'll get over it. I will
Yeah.
jump into the introductions and you can talk about anything to do with ZVZ. Obviously, as a Terran player, I have no idea. But I will get intros. To the green
Whatever.
keyboard. So spawning in our bottom left-hand corner, we do have our blue Zerg going down in the first game. Sorry, Seekreprieve. Bottom left-hand corner, blue Zerg, we do have Dan. And cross positions on this 1v1 map. Our yellow Zerg taking game number 1 quite convincingly. Some nice macro, nice pressure, seeing if he can pull out game number 2 and take the win. We do have Seekreprieve. Now, as you're saying, what
was I saying?
what is there to note about this map?
I don't know, I don't really play this map.
Awesome!
Oh my god, man. What the hell? Fix your lag. Blizzard hates you.
Am I lagging every time I jump out?
Yep.
Oh well, too bad. Too bad, so sad. So, interesting to see how this starts. We do have a gas being taken for Seekreprieve. Looks like it'll be a similar opening with that.
Normal 14-14 from Seekreprieve, apparently. Dan, don't know what doing at the moment. Probably 15 hatch.
You think so, given that he hasn't taken that gas
Yeah.
yet?
Yeah, 15 hatch because he's saving up. There we go. We see the drone going to his natural. It's so cute. And now the drone's lost forever.
So, interesting when Seekreprieve scouts this, if he does decide to scout, I mean, these overlords will eventually make it over there, but the earlier he can see that 15 hatch, the better for him, in the sense he can gear up either for a one base pressure, or he can expand himself behind that. There are obviously a few options available to him.
Then again, 14 versus 15. 15 pops just by the time lings arrive. Like your first set of 6 lings if you saved up for it. So in a way it can help if he scouts now, but then again it can't at the same time because drone just easily harass off lings.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
then
and
his speed,
I mean,
his speed will be gone.
Seekreprieve, having played with him before, it's not necessarily. I'm not sure, he doesn't often scout that early. He doesn't drone scout. We might see the lings take the watchtowers, and then maybe one ling will see what's happening down the bottom. But he's a pretty solid player with his micro and early game, so I don't think he has any concern about any kind of pressure.
Okay.
So we'll wait and see.
The Noggle towers are gateways. This is new to me.
Yeah, if you play this map, you'd realise.
Alright, go to his natural. His natural. His natural. There we go.
It's okay. Calm down.
God.
And so now
you said energy, and then you're like not even putting energy. God damn woman.
So Seekreprieve obviously just scouting that there is an expansion up. He is expanding behind it himself. We do have speed on the way. Speed hasn't started yet for speed hasn't started for Dan. So speed will make quite a big difference. He will have that advantage and be able to do quite a bit of harass early with those speedlings. Interesting to see if he goes for banelings behind it or roaches or anything like that. But we'd have a defensive spine crawl. I guess Dan realizing if you do go for that 15 expand, you are somewhat vulnerable early. He does have nice overlord placement, so he does see these lings streaming across and does know he needs to hold this with a spine crawler.
Seekreprieve. I'm just gonna say Seek from now on. It's too long of a name. Either way, he just think it took out 3 drones. I think it was.
Yeah, 3 drones.
Yeah.
And even though there are quite a few lings that Seekreprieve has made, he will just keep poking and prodding here, seeing if he can get up into the mineral line. And he just wants to make sure that Dan doesn't have any free mining time at this second. Meanwhile, back home he can safely drone up behind this himself. He is obviously taking the attacking foot in this.
I feel Dan made a bit too many lings to deal with that force.
Yeah, I can't really comment. I'm a Terran player, but we do have a Baneling nest popping. It's very similar to the first game. The main difference is neither parties did 15 expand in the first game. Actually, Seekreprieve going for an early third. He is actually playing quite greedy. He's up to 30 and getting a third himself, feeling that he is confident with his map control, map vision, and aggression. But we do have 2 Banelings being morphed in, and 2 already complete. Seekreprieve doesn't actually know at this point in time that there are Banelings. He is getting his own Baneling nest. But yeah, there hasn't been any, even in the first game, there wasn't any like huge engagements. In the first game, Dan did put a lot of pressure on, had a
Mm.
nice engagement. Didn't come off as well as he would have liked to, but it's not like some of those traditional ZVZs where you see it's pretty neck and neck. Both parties are kind of letting each other drone up a bit.
Yeah, it really depends on what kind of harassment you do and what kind of build you want to go around. Like, you find a lot of the good matches are just Zergs reacting to each other, whereas this was just them doing what they can. With the last game, just him going straight roach and Dan reacting a little late.
Well, yeah, I mean, Seekreprieve did get Infestors up towards the end. He didn't need him because in his earlier aggression, he was able to actually take out that second and put down significantly behind. A nice trade there, one Ling for one Bam, obviously a
Mm.
great trade-off if you're the Ling player. The third has completed and a Queen on the way. He doesn't actually know this third exists.
So we got a Bailing going in for a drone. Oh, nice damage. No drone though.
Only a few. Need to be careful with this second.
Oh, oh.
And yeah, obviously there's a few little engagements here and there. We do have a Spire Tech on the way, but I guess when we look at the base, Dan is still on Hatchery Tech. We do have Lair and a Spire on the way. We have a third up for Seekreprieve, so the tech advantage, the econ advantage, and you'd fair to say the map awareness,
Mm.
maybe not as much, but yeah, Seekreprieve is winning most battles in the sense of game. And I feel pretty confident in his playstyle. He was able to get away with being greedy pretty early on. Dan hasn't been able to apply the pressure he probably would have liked to.
Dan
Um,
hasn't noticed the third, by the way. Another
yeah,
one.
and that's another aspect. If he did know it was there, he could quite easily come over and deny this third. But until he scouts that,
He's more focused about harassing
and
the natural.
finally getting lair tech. We do have Roach and in Evolution Chamber on the way, but 5 meters en route for Seekreprieve. We look at the base of Dan. He has 3 queens, the only things that can deal with these mutas, and really these mutas should be able to do quite a bit of damage. I guess that's the thing. If you have that map control, you can play greedy early. You can actually get away with these mutas. I'm not sure how common are mutas in ZVZ.
Um. Okay, that's like asking how common lings are. They're literally Zug's first major harass.
Okay, cool.
Like, that's your tier 2 unit, so it, if you want to like do some major harassment as killing all the overlords, all of that, it's normally one of the first things people pop out.
Yeah, I mean, but you have to be careful about infestors, right? Although
Yeah, no.
you can bring in 1 meter at a time.
Mm.
But we do have some spore crawlers up. Hydralisk Den almost completing. And the thing about Seekreprieve, he's not overcommitting. If we look, he only has how many? 9. He has 9 meters now, but he definitely is a player that doesn't overcommit to a certain tech route. He definitely just saw the Hydralisk Den. We'll be forcing those weaker Zerg units, and then he can counter that with a different tech switch.
Yeah, that's what, and a lot of Bailing's just being wasted onto that spore crawler, I feel.
That's alright, he wanted to make sure he got those mutas, because these mutas actually can only be attacked by Hydras and Spore Crawlers, so if you can get rid of these Spore Crawlers, these mutas are free damage.
True.
The Queen goes down, and we do have the second Queen, more than likely will be able to go down as well. And then these mutas will just free range these...
Gonna take another Overlord and
yeah,
another Queen.
and that's what I was saying. I mean, yeah, sure, you could say that the Banelings were wasted on that Spore Crawler, but the DPS from those Spore Crawlers, in the sense that they were the only things being able to manage these mutas, I feel like he did an alright engagement. If we look here, 62 versus 34, he does have infestors en route, and I think that's the really good thing about Seekreprieve. If you see him in any future games, and I guess as the season goes on, he does exceptionally well at tech switching. He'll play one unit, force a certain composition from his opponent, and then without
Counter.
really being seen, he'll be able to sneakily take another tech route. So as you can see, like he used those those mutalisks, great, but he's
Mm.
not making any more. He's done the damage that he needs to do, and he actually is taking the gold as well. Um, so he has
Oh,
forced Hydralisk out of Dan. If we look at the unit count, 7 Hydras, and obviously Hydras are great DPS, but in the sense that when you don't have Hydras to sorry, if you don't have Mutas to attack, they're not really as valuable in ZVZ.
oops, sorry about that.
What?
Oh, my mother came in the room, so I like quickly muted my mic for a few seconds.
Oh, that's cute. We may be gearing up for an attack here. We do have one versus 0-0. Actually, surprisingly, we don't have any upgrades from Seekreprieve. He is getting 1-1 now, but we do have 2 attack just completing for Dan. So he does have the upgrade on upgrades. There's the
Yeah,
advantage on upgrades, and that will actually force Seekreprieve to retreat. It doesn't really bother him because he's playing kind of greedy in that sense. He does
and
have
he's got 7 infestors popping, and links to back it up, so he's pretty much luring, it seems, luring Dan into what seems like a mess in Fungal Ball.
well, yeah, I'm not necessarily luring, but I mean that's the thing with these Hydras as well. And actually, Dan not paying attention to his Hydras, a lot of them being caught out at the moment, and Hydras off creep are actually devastatingly slow. Let me see how
Mm.
slow they are. 2.25. Oh god. And that's the thing. These Hydras actually haven't been able to do any damage, and they will go down quite easily. And more than likely won't see any more Hydras out of the way. But they obviously it cost a little bit of gas, and that's the thing about Seekreprieve. He forced them out of him and then didn't actually build any more. And I mean, I could get excited about this, but it's a pretty one-sided engagement at the moment. And
Mm.
behind this, Seekreprieve is getting his Hive Tech, maybe seeing Ultralis or Brood
Seeing
Lords.
Burrow from Dan.
But I don't think Seekreprieve will have to rely on tier 3. Just figures he can get it. I mean, he does have a lot of minerals. Up to 72 drones now versus 43 of Dan. And Dan is definitely on the back foot. And can't see him really doing much about this. A lot of energy still on these infestors, and they will be able to fungal maybe the drones
This
as
is
well.
this is just gonna force a GG out of Dan. There's not much he could do to bring back this, especially with all those infestors in the roach.
And Seekreprieve, I like how he's done the fungal balls here, not the fungal balls, the what do you call them? Infested balls. Infested Terrans. Sorry. Because there was no real need for him to use the fungal. You can chuck out a few infested Terrans, 3 obviously for each fungal, and in this case it would have done more damage than the fungals. And again, Dan Force on 2 base now. He does have this, well now second up, but he doesn't have any drones at it. And Seekreprieve just going for an all-out assault. He does have 1-1 upgrades, and there's a GG. So Seekreprieve, I feel quite comfortably taking out both games. Did I actually update the scoreboard? I hope I did. I did. Thank you. Whew. So taking out both games, and we'll take it out 2-0. So he will get all 3 points from this set. And no discredit to Dan. I mean, he did play well. It's just Seekreprieve brought the fight to him, and basically Dan wasn't able to react in time. And I mean, Seekreprieve played very greedily and was able to get away with it because he was putting on that pressure and forcing Dan to play defensive. Nice tech switches, and I feel very solid play from Seekreprieve.
Yeah, it was.
Do you have anything to add to that, or are you all good?
No, it was like you did it pretty much all there.
Cool, cool. Well, that does mean that this set at least is complete. I will be chucking the stream down. We will be having a separate stream for each set, just so that if people want to watch this sets, they don't have to go through multiple streams. So if there are other games on today, we'll be sure to stream them. But be sure to subscribe if you haven't. We do have plenty more games. This is only round 1 of round 7. And thanks for tuning in. And thanks for joining me, Mushy.
Yeah, yeah, I'll see you later. And wait, you still there? Or did you turn it off?
I'm still there. Do you want to say
I'm
something?
in-
Any shout outs to your sponsors and all that?
Yeah, thanks to all the sponsors for following the tournament, and also, go on to the SASL own 3D channel, and I'll be streaming in about 5 minutes.
Ooh, self promotion.